Ether. After the council meeting, Ether dreaded visiting the dungeons. The impenetrable castle was terrifying, although Ether would never have admitted it aloud. Every bit of the building was cold, hard granite, steel, or silver. The style was harsh, and the light of day barely slipped into the upper corridors, let alone the ground level. In most common areas, hallways, and stairwells of the castle, blue-flamed lanterns did not provide enough light to see the floor. Lit with only an occasional candle, the dungeons were nearly black. When the dim lighting was just right, shadows of toad rats blew up to the size of a boar. Corpses hung in narrow passageways to terrify the other prisoners. Screaming echoed from a torture room. As with most days, the passageways between the rows of cells reeked of metallic blood, and Ether wished to return to the higher levels. I'll have to meet with the prisoners eventually. Better to get it over with. I wish I could do it in a more comfortable setting, though. When Ether entered the viewing chamber, the new prisoners stood in a line with their eyelids already sewn open. They had no choice but to meet Ether's gaze of judgment. Most protested, turning their heads to the side or their eyes upwards in their sockets. Eventually they could no longer resist, and their eyes would catch Ether's. Once they did, their eternal fate rested in his hands. That was one of the privileges of being the Archspawn. Regardless of whether someone had held a gaze with another spawn previously, his judgment trumped all others. Despite the perk, Ether disliked being the Archspawn. With the position came fame and fanatics, both of which he could do without. If he could forsake his title to avoid venturing into the bleak dungeons, he'd do it. As he progressed down the row, one older prisoner spoke to him. "So you are Ether of Vetron." Prisoners occasionally tried to persuade Ether to let them go, insult him, or otherwise stall returning to their cells. He decided to indulge the charismatic inmate. "I am." "My name is Piety." "You're a priest, then?" "I am." "You must have been preaching heresy to land yourself in here," Ether reasoned. "You wouldn't be the first." "I'm here because the truth was deemed heresy by an arbitrary authoritative figure," Piety said. "You mean High King Panite?" "Him, among others." There was a pause, and Ether realized he had not looked directly into the man's eyes yet. The conversation had distracted him, but he would be sure to do so. "Would you like to know something?" Piety prompted. "And what is that? The truth of a heretic?" As much as Ether despised the dungeons, his religious duties bored him, but he enjoyed taunting the prisoners when provoked. "Come closer. We don't want everyone to know the secret," the prisoner said. Ether was wary about getting too close. People had spit on him when he had made that mistake previously. Still, he edged closer. The man was filthy, with a disgusting mixture of blood and shit caking his face and clothes. It was revolting, and Ether would not have shifted any farther toward the priest if his life depended on it. The man whispered something unintelligible. "What did you say?" Ether asked. He raised his voice. "You are not the Archspawn." At the same time, he looked into Ether's eyes as though the priest was the one passing judgment on him. Ether recoiled. No one had ever claimed that before, but it was preposterous. He laughed. "Piety, it was prophesied and confirmed rotations ago. How in the world have you deluded yourself otherwise?" "I have spoken with the Archdemon, Dantrima the Cruel." You spoke with an archdemon, specifically one that hasn't been seen since the end of the 7th Age. Forgive me if I struggle to believe your claim. "I learned how to summon him. I am a dark warlock, and that is the reason I am here," Piety explained with conviction. "He must be insane. Or he's goading me. Either way, it isn't true. I've got this position whether I want it or not." Plainly, Ether said, "You will rot down here until you die, and then I will send your soul to the accursed ruins." The prisoners close enough to hear him gasped and pleaded that Ether did not damn them all for the actions of a single person. Rotations ago, the first time he had stated the same declaration, the guards escorting him had also joined the begging. But he had made the hollow claim so frequently to new groups of prisoners that the guards knew better now. Before Ether moved on to the next prisoner, Piety said, "No, the actual Archspawn will decide my fate."